And once I'm able to share the PowerPoint, I'll do so as soon as possible. Thank you very, very much. So let's just commit this meeting into the hands of God. Father, Lord, we thank you for being here. We thank you for this moment here and now. We thank you because we have no bad news to report. We thank you for your protection over our children, over our families, over our teachers, over our school. We give you all the glory. We thank you for provision in all that we do. We have just glory and good news for you, oh Lord, and we just give you all the glory. Thank you, Lord. So at this moment, I'm going to go into my presentation, like I said. So the next slide of my presentation is our mission. Okay, I'm going to run through our mission, our vision, and our values real quickly. And what it is, we can also be. So our mission is to provide a positive and stimulating environment that guides children to achieve academic excellence, godly values, personal growth, and overall social success. Okay, so to provide a positive and stimulating environment, even though we might have to operate online, okay, that guides our children to achieve academic excellence. So at Totsland, our standard is excellence and more. Godly values, as well as personal growth and overall success. Our vision is to be a first-class provider in childcare and education with godly values. So right now, because the school is shut down, we may not necessarily say we're providing childcare, but upon resumption, we will provide childcare as well as instilling excellent education and godly values. Our core values, we use the acronym CARES: communication, active participation, role modeling, excellence, and scholarship. CARES. So C for communication, A for active participation, R for role modeling, E for excellence, and S for scholarship. We expect this of our children, we expect this of ourselves, we expect this of our families. So if we want our children to become wholesome beings who are noble citizens, they have to communicate well, they have to actively participate in their communities, they have to be role models, they have to make sure that whatever they do is excellent, and they have to study hard, read hard, learn hard. Okay? What we strive for a safe, nurturing learning, a proper approach to discipline, unconditional love and respect for all. That's what we strive for. So in our school community, this is the Totsland School community. If you're part of our community, we want you to consider that you belong to this school community. So in order for us to all coexist, we have to seek first to understand and then to be understood. So please, in everything we do, we should not necessarily assume that someone else should understand us first. We should first try to understand what's going on, and then, and then we can also present our own perspective. We want you to read our school handbook, and we want you to contact the school admin if you've not done so, so she can provide you with a copy of the school handbook. Our lines of communication. Okay, our lines of communication are very open. Okay, so as a parent, you can communicate to the teacher, you can communicate to the school admin, you can communicate to the school's admin because you need to see the head of school. You can communicate directly to me. I don't want to shut down that communication. So lines of communications are open. You can communicate through me if you want to see the founding director, or you can contact the founding director herself, Mrs. Organ. I'm Ms. Sia. I'm the head of school. I guess I didn't introduce myself earlier on. And I'm so glad to see all of you logged in for the back to school. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. Okay. Once upon a time, this sheet was very, Samara, make it smaller a bit. Make it smaller a bit. Go back. Here, table. So once upon a time, the child ratio was the very first thing we want to talk to you about, so that your concerns about how many kids are going to be in the class, or who's going to be handling my kids. Right now, we're not resumed physically, so technically the classroom can be as big or as small as what we think may be effective or what you think may be effective. But I just want to walk you through all of the different classes, okay? So for now, the very youngest classes are the infants, okay, the adventurers. That's the 3 months to 18-month-old. We're not expecting for them to be online during this session. The next class are the explorers, toddler 1, 18 months to 36 months. We don't have a full session available for them either, but if you want your child to participate, please let us know. This meeting right now is directly focused on the elementary school. We will also have a session like this for the early years next Friday, okay? So for the early years, we will cover classes for children under 5, all right? So for now, I'm going to focus mainly on the kindergartners, the grade school, and a little bit of the pre-K. I should just pay attention to my notes. So upon resuming online on Tuesday, okay? However, we are only resuming online until we get communication from the government about resuming physically in person. So we will resume in person as soon as the government directs us to do. Your children might be required, such as their face mask or their face shield, and whatever else the government is going to stipulate to us. Parents are encouraged to remind their children about safety measures when it comes to proper hand washing procedures, social distancing, and whatever else that will be stipulated. More information will come, so we'll communicate to our parents as soon as possible. While we learn online, we will do our best to handhold our families as needed. If you have any issues, please contact us. We will provide resources to make learning easier at home. So if we need to send a particular learning aid, like a flashcard, or there are certain things that we might ask our parents to provide at home, but there are other things that we have identified we need to provide to you in order to make learning efficient. So we will provide them to you. That way you can pick them up for learning either for the new week or for the entire month, depending on how the teacher has planned herself in advance, okay? So we appeal to you to please handle our resources with care when we send it home. We have limited one-on-one tutoring services available at an additional fee for people who do not want to log in online or who might want to do a combination of both. Okay, so while we learn online, these are some of the things that we're willing to do. We want to hold our families as much as possible. So at this point, we're going to talk about the school calendar for 2020-2021. Marshall, excuse me. Use the display button right here. And then, okay. So this is a school calendar for the new school year. So like I said, on the 25th of August, we're going to resume with the elementary. And then on the 31st of August, the early years will resume on Monday online. And for the early years, we just have the T2 classes and the pre-K classes. So the children that are 3 and up are the ones that are going to be resuming on the 31st. Okay. Now, as you can see on our calendar, it's pretty much traditional to what we usually do, which is we have the fall break at the end of October. We have a 3-week break in December, and then we have a 2-week break in during the Easter period. Okay. We have days when what we call the teacher work days. Those days are identified in yellow. We have report card distribution days. Those are identified in green. And we have parent-teachers conference days. Those days are identified in black. So you can see that for the whole year, we have 3 official, and we have 3 report card days, and we have 5 teacher work days. The calendar will be shared electronically to you, so not to worry, you will get a copy. For now, just to give you an overview of the calendar. Okay, at this point in time, I'm going to move to learning differentiation. I want to talk about it a little bit. A few of our students did struggle when we did do online sessions for the distance learning 2020 period. Okay, so it looks like our Zoom is being timed out. Please reconnect back in if the meeting ends. So like I said, we have multiple intelligences. Some people learn through music, some people learn through pictures, some people learn because they're logical in their reasoning. Some people are word smart. Once they see the word or once they spell the word, it clicks. Some people have to interact with people to learn. Some people have to move their bodies to learn. Some people have to learn in nature, in their immediate environment, in nature as far as greenery, trees, and all of that. So different people learn differently. So what we are working towards is ensuring that we carry every learner along and make sure that we do not leave any child behind. In 2020, 2025, different learning styles. And we urge you parents to please observe your children to see what learning styles they have. What kind of a learner is my child? That way you're not presenting to your child words when really how they learn is through music, body, or a different learning style than what you're presenting to them. It also helps for us to work with you as a community. So if you feel as though the teacher is not presenting information in the way that best carries your child along, you can interact with us. It's a community. We're supposed to hold each other accountable. We're supposed to share with each other so we can all grow together. So learning styles are important. Knowing your learning style is important. Knowing your child's learning style is very important too. Timeliness. We just want to talk about timeliness. Okay. If we're not efficient with our time, we can end up wasting a lot of everybody's time. So at this point in time, moving forward in the new school year, For each class, there'll be an icebreaker for about 5 minutes before the teacher goes into active teaching and learning. So please make sure that you're logged in at least a minute or two before the meeting starts. And please make sure you contact our admin lines if your child is not showing up for school. We would like for you to communicate to us if your child is going to be absent or late. Okay? Please, 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 we want to appeal to parents. This is not just for distance learning. This is for learning in general. We need to make sure that we keep the noise level down around our children's learning area to a minimum so that we don't other children, you don't distract the class or the teacher. So please, while we're doing e-learning and just in general, when they do return back to in-person learning, we're very sure that we're giving our children the right space to learn. While we learn online, we will use Chromebooks. So for example, the pre-K classes will be assigned tablets, while the other classes will be assigned Chromebooks. Email addresses have been created for the children to ensure ease of use. We've also created accounts to the different platforms that we use so that it's easy for the children to access or log into learning synchronously, asynchronously via Zoom, Google Classroom, and pre-recorded videos. For the elementary, one of the feedback we got was that we should introduce our subjects with short clips of pre-recorded videos before we actually go into delivering the lessons to the children. So sometimes we'll do that. Sometimes we might tell your child to go and read up on a certain topic. This is online. It's already difficult as it is to learn online sometimes when there are network issues. So we'll try our best to deflect some of those interruptions by doing pre-recorded videos, posting communication in the Google Classroom, links and all of that in advance. I want to go back to the Chromebooks. Chromebook will be available for pickup tomorrow at 10 a.m. Okay, so dear parents, please pick up the Chromebooks for your children tomorrow at 10 a.m. Okay, please, if you've not paid your fees already, at a minimum, please pay for your resources so that we can release the books and the Chromebooks. So I just want to make a note of that. Ms. Jane will be here to distribute Chromebooks as you arrive into the school. So please make sure that you contact her at the end of this meeting to confirm that you will be coming in so she can expect you and she can be sure that your child has everything set up in, for their Chromebook. Although we are pretty much good to go, we have all the Chromebooks set up, but we have a few that we're still having to load some apps on. So please just give her a call and confirm that you'll be here tomorrow to pick up your materials. We won't distribute books just yet. We will do so next week. So books will be distributed next Saturday. So for the first week of school, we're gonna go over routines. And also just to mention, our books are available online. So most books are already available on the Chromebook, okay? So we're just giving an extra level of comfort by providing the hard copy textbooks. So for easy reference, or maybe for network, or if your child is just someone that likes to touch and feel the books. Okay, Zoom ground rules, okay? Different teachers will have slightly different ground rules for their classrooms, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk about the classroom rules in general general, particularly since our synchronous learning will be happening via Zoom. Okay, so the first box talks about no charge. It's simple. In order for us to have an effective meeting, basically you will have to somewhat be on mute, and then later on we can interact. So the same somewhat applies with the kids. They are young, but the truth about it is if we handhold them, if we teach them, if we have confidence in them, they will be responsible and they will execute. Okay, so in the first few weeks, let's be patient. Let's be aware of our emotions as we guide our children into creating a routine for themselves. So please work with them to be on time. Okay, if they have not started going to bed early or they've been going to bed late, now today is the time to make them go to bed an hour earlier, and then tomorrow you can make it 2 hours earlier, and on Sunday you can make it 3 hours earlier. So just start working towards ensuring that they go to bed on time so that they can show up on time, ready to interact and be active in their class. All right, I'm going to the third box on the first row, which says Zoom from kitchen or living room. I had to pause when I saw that. It says Zoom from kitchen or living room. What does that mean? Zoom from kitchen or living room basically means do not Zoom from your bedroom. That's how I deduct it. If you deduct it any way different, please send in your message and maybe I can share with others. So please just alert your children as much as possible. If we are going to do something even in the bedroom because we have limited space, we have to do it against the wall where we're not exposing too much of our personal space. Okay, so please counsel your children about that. Mute yourself. So mute yourself, that's pretty logical. That's the second box on the first column. It says mute yourself when you're not talking. Turn on your video. Some teachers, especially for this age of children, we require them to turn on their videos, because if they do turn off their videos, they may not necessarily be engaged in the class. So please encourage them to turn on their videos while they're, we would send information in advance via the Google Classroom. So please work with your child to check their email the night before or the morning before they have to start their classes. It's just a way for them to be on top of things and not feel disoriented while once they log into their classroom. If they're privy to information that their teachers have posted, then they're a bit more confident in class. And that's what we want to encourage. We want to encourage children that are confident because they know and understand the expectation from their teachers, from their school, from their parents, okay? So adult needs to be present. This does not apply to all of the classes, and it doesn't mean that for the classes that it doesn't apply to, you are completely checked out as an adult. Parents still need to supervise their children. They may not necessarily be aware of time. But these are the moments where we also work with our children to be conscious of time, to be responsible with logging in as at when scheduled. Okay, and then of course the next box is raise your hand to talk. It's just basically saying, you know, prompt your teacher so that she alerts you and she can, you know, have you ask your question in due time. And then overall, we just want to be respectful towards each other, okay? So show up a few minutes before class and wait to be admitted into class. Find a quiet space, a quiet place free of distractions. So there are families that have multiple siblings. If you've not figured it out by now, please work towards different, each kid or each child can be stationed without disrupt, okay? During class time, even though they have recess, I would recommend that they are not allowed to log into watching TV and all of that. They can go and do other things. They can walk around, you can Like, you can do something that works so that we want to get them away from the screens when they are on recess, so that their eyes have a break from the screen, and that way they can tap back in, okay? Be respectful at all times while your video is on. No hand gestures or inappropriate language, okay? So please observe your child and make sure they're not speaking or saying things that are inappropriate. And also no chewing gum, no eating, no drinking in front of the camera. Your child should work towards having breakfast before classes start. They can have a snack during recess. They can eat after class, and they should also manage their bathroom breaks in between these times too, so that the learning can be fluid. Let's work together to encourage, okay? So I talked about having a routine. Children are only as independent as you expect them to be. If you don't expect independence, they will continue to be dependent on you. And once they continue to be dependent on you, you would always have to do things for them. And I'm sure we don't want to do things for our children, for the rest of their lives. We want them to grow into independence. So please allow them to make safe risk, explore safe risk, and they should do things for themselves. They should be able to, even though they'll make a mess, this child is eating and he's making a mess, even though he's making a mess, he's growing in his independence. So please, let's encourage our children to be independent, and let's have higher expectations of them. So for the first day of school, might be around to flow through, we should be able to step back and see how well they're able to execute for themselves. When we can do that, then we are encouraging independence. So independence is very important. As much as we want to supervise our children, we should still encourage independence. I can do it myself. Never do for a child what he can do for himself. Irresponsible only when we fail to give them opportunities. So with this child, she's tying her shoes. If your child, you know your child can tie their shoes, there's no reason you should always want to tie their shoes for them. Okay? Let them tie their shoes. Otherwise, you're taking away their independence. Tomorrow, they'll sit there and want you to be the one to come and tie their shoes. That translates into so many different things. It translates into showering in the morning, getting themselves ready, getting their Chromebooks, their pen foundation, and you told them where things are. Then have somewhat of an expectation, not a negative expectation where you say, why did you not know? Let's come from a place of positive guidance. So we say, well, I'm going to expect you to manage your school materials properly. I would like for you to keep it right here and make sure that whenever you finish using it, you put it back right there so that tomorrow when you come back, it's here for you to use. That way you've explained to the child what your expectations are, and that way the child understands the reasoning why the pen cup needs to be here. But sometimes we place things around the children, but or we don't explain to them, understand. And they don't understand, they continue to, you know,
to work with them, or you have whoever will be supervising the children need to work with them to be sure that they understand the difference between these two times and they adhere to it, and they come back or they return back to their workstation once their teacher calls for them. Okay? Independence with distance learning will improve once a routine is created and the right support is provided initially in the first 14 days. Now, some people say that a habit is formed in 21 days, some people say in 28 days, some people say in 14 days. Whatever it is, if you commit to it now, then you wouldn't have to keep repeating yourself. So please handhold your children and be sure that you set a routine. Start now. That way, they're good to go. I'm going to talk a little bit about our curriculum and how we plan to execute our curriculum. So, like you all know, we are an American school. We do the Common Core. Our 4 core subject areas are English language arts, math, science, and social studies. And we also do music and art. If you do remember, for the distance learning program for last, not too long ago, about 2 months ago, we had to suspend music because that was a new environment for our children, and we wanted them to get comfortable. So we're not trying to introduce so many things to them all at once during this COVID period. During this COVID period, so for this new session, we're introducing music. So I'll talk more about that a bit later. So for our American curriculum, we focus on the Common Core state standards and areas that we try to develop on are critical thinking, problem solving, and analytical skills. Okay, so as we go through the course content for English, math, social studies, and science, please remember that when we try to deliver the materials to the children, we're also trying to improve their critical thinking skills, their problem solving skills, and their analytical skills. Because we're trying to compete and lead globally, okay? So, executing our curriculum. This year, we've included more exciting materials that will make multisensory distance learning more savvy. Okay? What is multisensory learning? We talked about the different learning styles. Okay, some people learn by seeing, some people learn by touching, some people learn by feeling, some people learn when they hear, some people learn when they say it. These are our 5 senses, and these are the ways that some of us learn. So basically what we're trying to do is to just encourage multisensory learning. So if you see your class teacher telling your child to stand up and move around or go touch something, just know that this is the intention behind what they're trying to do, okay? We've spent a lot of, we've invested a lot in our materials, our well-researched materials, and they offer a lot of interactive tools. So with being online, we get to explore these tools. We get to go further with what we actually really did at Totsland anyway to begin with. It wasn't even because we had COVID-19. Kids all had their Chromebook, the children had their Chromebook, they could log on, they could view videos, they could simulate on a particular topic they're trying to learn about. So the same continues, but even better, okay? No, put on screen share. I don't need to stand there. I'm okay where I am. Okay, can we go? Yes. So, sorry about that. Executing our curriculum. So students can be easily assessed and tested to determine subject mastery as intended by the program designers. Okay, and then the programs also want to use their own testing that they've already predetermined. That helps to show organic areas where a child might need extra support. It gets to show maybe foundational issues or foundational concept that needs to be clarified for the child to move forward. So these are some of the exciting resources we have at our fingertips to help us to move our children from point A to point B. Extra support processes, like I said, have been pre-designed by the program designers. So teachers are not necessarily having to figure it out per se. Some of our brand new programs are social studies. We have a new reading program that identifies, that gets to listen to your child and highlights to them maybe words that they didn't pronounce correctly, or even sounds that they might not be pronouncing correctly. And then it gives extension activities automatically, okay? So that was a great reading program. If we have some time, we'll get to actually watch a video on that. Otherwise, you will see that come through with your children. And we're also waiting on our math program. Not only do we have what we currently have right now, but we have the digitized version that has been introduced. You know, with COVID-19, a lot of companies have had to introduce digitized and optimized versions of their resources. And so you see that with Eureka Math. Okay? Now I talked about math, English, social studies, science is our core subject. And then at Totsland, we try to make sure that math and music and art is also a core subject, just because it's something that is required for life. So we're excited to collaborate with Dr. Kimberly Scott, who's the music director of Piano Maestro. And moving forward, she will handle the music classes. Mr. Femi will work under her leadership. So if your child has been in Totsland, you know that Mr. Femi has been our music instructor. So Mr. Femi will work under her leadership to ensure that the foundation of music is definitely solid. So we'll make sure that our children are working on learning the repertoires and learning the music notes and learning, and not just rushing into playing the musical instruments, but also learning the basics and the foundation. As a parent, I would say continue to have discussions with your children about, or with your child about what music instrument they might be interested in. We have some of the instruments that we have on offer to teach the children is a keyboard, violin, saxophone, and clarinet. So let's start with those, and then we can go further from there if you see that your child is interested in something else. Some of these instruments, your child has to be at a certain age to learn to play, so that will also come into play. But also, please be prepared to provide this musical instrument for your child at home. Okay? All right, so for art, Ms. Florence is going to be leading art, and we will continue to work on recycling, and we will focus, for this school year, we'll focus on assemblage and interior decor. So for the kindergartens, they're going to work on assemblage and color palettes, and the grades 1 and 2 will work on art terminologies, assemblage, and introduction to interior decor. For the 3rd and the 4th graders, they'll go into art history, and they'll carry on with interior decor also. So some of the items we might need at home are your art glue, recycled plastic bottles, yarns, wool, cutting sets, paint, cardboard paper. The teacher will communicate in advance so you can collate your materials. That way your child is fully empowered to be the young artist that they need to be. Okay? You can read more about our curriculum on commoncorestandards.org. Okay? And you can choose to download the Common Core app. Okay? It has a green icon which says Common Core. So you can choose to download that. That way you can understand and learn the benchmark for every grade that your child is in. So you should be able to pull up the Common Core standards for a 1st grader and understand, okay, so this is what the school is working towards. And also this, on this website called bealearninghero.org, it helps parents better support their children when it comes to learning online or learning in general, not even just online. So if you notice the video I had before that talked about identifying emotion, that was a video from bealearninghero.org. So find time to visit that website as well as many others in 2020, and just read up on whatever area that you feel you might not be supporting your child as best as you can. Okay? We have a certain time limit for homework, and usually we try to display that so that parents understand what the expectations are when it comes to homework and the time that is required to complete homework. So as you can see here, for a child that is 3, it should be less than 5 minutes. For a child that is 4 to 5, it should be about 5 to 10 minutes. For the children that are in grades 1 and 2, it should be about 10 to 20 minutes. And then for a child that is in grade 3 and grade 4, it should be about 20 to 30 minutes. Additional reading may be assigned, and if additional reading is assigned and your child is maybe struggling or, swamped or needs to rest, you can always add their reading or their literature from the class as a nighttime routine. They can always read it during bedtime. So it mustn't just be at a particular time. And we just have to understand that right now, we're championing our children's learning with, with e-learning and with distance learning. And, the amount of time that they might need to work on activities that have been assigned to them might be slightly higher than what is here, because now homework is classwork too. But we should all hang in there, and hopefully as we progress further, we'll have more clarity on how things should operate. Okay? Please visit our website, Totsland Schools. .com. Okay, we have our distance learning page, which is the first page that is highlighted at the top. So once you click on that, once you go under the distance learning page, at the end of the page, you will have a username and password where you can connect and have the links to all of the different resources, online resources that we use for learning. This is number one. Please go on the distance learning page just to read up about our distance learning approach. And secondly, if you need to access Great Minds and you're wondering where the Mac app is, you can go through there. If you need to access the information for social studies, the icon should be there. So just go around and take a look, and also share with your friends. Please share with your friends what we're doing here at Totsland. Don't keep it a secret, guys. We're doing a great job at distance learning, for the times that we find ourselves in. Please tell your friends. If you refer someone to us, we'll definitely give you a discount on the tuition, as even further than what we've given to you already. And I promise you it's going to be a drastic one. So please tell your friends about us and let them come in and also explore. At this point in time, with the distance learning, we're not bound by, geography, so technically anybody can log in and participate. Right now, we still have not heard from the government as far as when schools will resume. We do promise that we will resume as soon as the government calls for it, as soon as we make sure that we've met all of the safety requirements. But in the meantime, tell your friends about us, and we want you to please communicate to us in advance regarding picking up the Chromebooks, okay? And if you've not completed the survey that I sent an email about, I sent an email with a link for a survey. Please complete that survey. We want to hear from you. We want to hear how things are working. And if you're having any issues, we also want to hear from you so that we can work on developing our processes even further. Okay? So at this point in time, Chromebooks are ready to be distributed tomorrow by 10 a.m. Please call Ms. Jane to schedule for pickup. Okay? I'm going to be taking questions now. If you have any concerns, please type it up. My team will get the questions to me so I can respond to them. I'm sure others might benefit from your question. So I have a question here. Let me just read through it, process it, and then I'll share with all. Okay, so Mr. Kegama has said, can we share the PowerPoint presentations with parents after this? Yes, we will share the recording of the Zoom meeting with parents after this meeting. Okay, do I have any other questions? Please check. Okay. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm just going to give about 2 minutes for any more questions. If not, we're going to basically come to a closing. Go back to the agenda slide.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
So thank you very much, everyone. I apologize for the technical difficulty, but we did champion and we did get to the end of this session. If you have any questions, you can reach us. You can reach the school's front desk. You can reach me. You can reach Mrs. Algon. You can send an email to the teachers. We're gonna play a video about our reading program just to kind of get you aware of this new reading program. So please stay tuned if you want to know a little bit more about our reading program that is being introduced. Social studies is also a new program that has been introduced. If you have any questions, please let us know. Please tell others about us. We would like to offer our services to even more people. Tell others about us, and I promise you I will give you a very good discount off your tuition on top of the already existing percentage. Thank you very much. Please hang on for the reading program. Have a good day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, as well as seeing you and your children